Hello everyone, this is Miss Time Bunny, and today I am doing a video response to Atari Fitness, and the question is, if I just check my notes, is production quality important on YouTube? I'd say yes it is. I mean, before you all jump on me and say anything, I appreciate that not everybody has the money to get fancy pants equipment. I mean, I personally record on my iPhone, and I also have a little digital camera as well, if I can find it. Ah, there it is, yeah. I have like this little bunny just here, which I used to take photos and film footage when I was at MCM Comic Con a couple of weekends ago up in London, because the other digital camera I have, do you think I could find the charging stuff for it? And I soddery. So I got myself this one, and it actually doesn't record, sort of quality of the footage that this records is actually pretty good for the little camera that it is. So, but yeah, that's what I personally use to record this and my iPhone. And I flip between iMovie and Windows Live Movie Maker for editing. So I mean, so equipment wise, you know, compared to the big YouTubers who have a lot of money and can spend out on the fancy equipment, you know, the stuff I use isn't all that fancy or great. But I probably use the settings to such a point where, you know, I do my best to get the best out of the equipment I use and like the editing software and that. So yeah, I mean, my production quality may not be, you know, Hollywood movie standards, you know, I don't have fancy lighting, you know, I don't use green screens or like a state-of-the-art latest PC or Mac or anything like that. But, you know, it's like what I own, I obviously do what I can to make my videos the best that I can. Because yes, I'm on a limited budget. And as I was saying, you know, if you are on a limited budget, you can get little cameras like this, you know, that do actually give you like decent quality footage. It's like, yes, with something like this, you'd probably have to be in a very well lit room, because, you know, sort of in like sort of darker rooms, these don't, you know, cope as well. You know, I mean, obviously with like an iPhone or perhaps like a latest Samsung, you know, you can switch on like the flash, things like that, or do the settings such like so that they can cope better in a darker room. So, but yeah, you can just invest in things like that. I think on Amazon, I think you can pick up light boxes and things like that, you know, relatively inexpensive, because I've had a little look myself and I have found some lighting that actually isn't as expensive as I thought it was going to be. And you know, even the tripod that my iPhone's on right now as I record cost me, I think it was about, altogether including postage, I think not even £15 from Amazon. So, you know, you can set yourself up really cheap. You know, my tripod was like less than 15 quid. I think this altogether including batteries and an SD card was probably around about £50 altogether, I think. So I mean, to be fair, if you sort of set yourself a budget and maybe sort of put some money aside, you know, you could probably set yourself up a little thing, you know, for probably like not even like, I don't know, probably under £100 maybe, or round about that sort of price. I mean, obviously I'm factoring in whether or not you own, you know, like a laptop or a PC or something like that ready. So obviously if you don't, then you have to factor that in. It's probably going to be more costly. So, but yeah, going back to my original point before I start digressing, because I went off on one there. But yeah, you know, yes, quality is important, but you don't need really, really expensive equipment, because not all of us have the money for the latest cameras and computers and software and things like that. I mean, it's just going back to the iPhone, it comes with, you know, I think most of them come in, most if not all, I think I products do come in with like iMovie already built into it, because I know all of the iPhones I've owned have always had iMovies built in, and I think it comes as standard with, I think, like the iPad and MacBooks and things like that. So I think it's one of those things that generally comes sort of like a version comes built in, I think, from what I've read up. So, you know, if you own an Apple product and you maybe don't have a lot of money to spend out on anything expensive, chances are, you know, your iPhone, iPad, Mac probably has it already built in, you know. So you can always use that. And for Windows, like sort of Windows PC users, if you already own a PC or laptop, you know, Windows Live Movie Maker, I think, if it's not already, you know, sort of like with your item, you can download it for free. You know, I mean, yes, you know, there's sort of like, these kind of things are very basic, because I think the version of iMovies on my phone is a very sort of like, compared to the full version, is a bit more watered down and limiting, but it works for me. And, you know, Windows Live Movie Maker, such as it is, it can be a pain at times. You know, if you're just starting out and or you don't have huge amounts of money, it works well enough. You know, because I've been using it for, you know, pretty much since I started YouTubing properly. And I've had people compliment me on my videos and say that, you know, despite my limited, you know, software and equipment, my videos are really, really good. So it proves that you can have, you know, limited resources and still get good videos. You know, it's all about thinking about, you know, little things about, you know, lighting and things like that, and, you know, playing about with things to see what works. So, you know, you don't need to spend thousands of pounds on a studio with all the fancy arse whatever, you know. I mean, if you've got the money to buy all the latest, you know, gubbins, then do it. You know, I'm not going to stand here and say like, oh, you're not allowed to buy yourself the latest camera or whatever, because it's like, it's your money. You spend it on whatever the bloody hell you like. Trust me, you know, if I had the money, I'd probably like by now be living in like a nice flat or house, and I'd probably have a room just to be like a YouTube studio, and I'd have like it soundproofed, and I'd have the latest probably Mac or PC and a big camera and all the rest of it. You know, I'd proper go for it. You know, I would just be like, right, get everything posh, you know, decent as it were. But as it is, I use my iPhone and record in my bedroom, and use my laptop, which has its moments. Well, I usually use my PC as well, but it's having a bit of a funny 5 minutes at the moment. I need to sort that out. But it's like, I don't have fancy equipment, and, you know, my videos aren't too bad, you know. I'm not going to say I'm the best, but, you know, I think for my situation they come out alright, so. But yes, it is a case of, I do think quality is important, you know, but don't beat yourself up if you don't have the really fancy equipment, you know, because we can't all afford it. Just do what you can with what you own, and just, you know, do your best with it. That's what I'd say. You know, Amazon is your friend, you know, because you can get some pretty decent equipment on there for, you know, sort of like not too much, you know. It all depends on your budget. So, but actually, that's a good point. I need to get myself some better lighting, to be fair, and a microphone. So, I need to do that. But yes, that is that. And by all means, guys, if you want to join in, give a video response, then, you know, go for it. So, but I'm going to end here, and I'll see you all again soon.